typical, top-heavy, you know, do the same old, raise a bunch of money, spend a bunch of money a few weeks before the election on radio and television ads. Let me ask you, when was the last time a radio or television ad, a political radio or television ad, when was the last time you suppose such an ad induced someone to either become a Republican or to volunteer for a campaign? You think TV ads do that with regularity? Okay. Pardon me? The Goldwater Daisy ad, yes. That's why I became a Republican at the age of 2. Yes. Yeah, nuke 'em. I was destined to go to CMC. What can I say? I would say that generally speaking, political advertising does nothing more than name identification for candidates. It generally, I think, is the political equivalent of a sugar rush. That when all that money moves through the system, what's left? Will your club be stronger? Will there be more people registered as Republicans? Will there be more people involved in activist groups working to actually change the state for the better? I don't think so. Conversely, I think that when people actually interact with candidates, whether through an online, you know, a virtual presence that they feel comfortable with, or a series of engagements all over the state where you reach a critical mass of people who are interested in politics, such that each person that you meet, because they're an opinion leader, has another 10 to 20 or 30 friends that they interact with and can say, hey, you know, I actually met candidate so-and-so, and he or she impressed me, and I'm going to volunteer on her campaign. I think that has a far bigger effect than dropping $25 million of television ads 3 weeks out. Now, only, however, if you do it early enough that the word of mouth begins to work. And that's why in our own effort, we announced for this office 1 week after the November election with the theory that we needed time for the connections to take hold. One of the biggest investments I made in my campaign a few weeks ago is we created an e-leader site, or electronic leader, where we put into our website functionality that has generally only been found in national presidential elections. Mitt Romney had this capability. Fred Thompson briefly had. I was going to say something humorous about Fred Thompson and his sleep-wake cycle, but this is being YouTubed. And, you know, Fred, I might want your support someday, so don't hold this. I think Huckabee had a similar thing, certainly Obama did. And so what the e-leader does is it allows you to have your own account with the campaign, where you can track how much money you've given, how much money your people that you've encouraged to join the campaign have given, how many people have given, how many emails you've contributed to the campaign, and how many of those people have gotten active. Helps you set up things like neighborhood meet and greets or online, you know, video teleconferencing meet and greets using Skype, which is a pretty neat technology. I mean, compared to where things were even 2 or 3 years ago, where you maybe were getting 4 frame refreshes every second. I think Skype on a decent line is up to about 30 frame refreshes. It's pretty close to television frame refresh rate. And so this tool allows you to basically become your own agent for the campaign. And what's interesting about this is that this sort of campaigning is actually very traditional in American history. It's the grassroots, bottoms-up campaigning that you really can't fake or spoof because you can't force people to join e-leader. They have to do it on their own. It's kind of like your Facebook or your Twitter. People will either follow you or not. They'll either friend you on Facebook or not. You can't force somebody to come on and do something like that. And so these sorts of grassroots, bottom-up efforts, like Obama had, take time to gestate and time to really kind of come to fruition, as opposed to the traditional campaign, which does not want a lot of interaction with volunteers because you might actually have to talk philosophy, and maybe you'll be inconsistent about something, and then somebody's going to YouTube it, and maybe, you know, the candidate will be caught saying some untoward word that could be, you know, used against them, and, you know, things are messy when people are involved. It's far easier when you can simply write a check for $10 million and phone it in, right? But the problem with that is I don't think you can fundamentally change the state. The state has some really serious issues that we're dealing with right now regarding the size and scope of government, the tax rates that we have in the state, and we're getting to the point where there's going to be a new Proposition 13 brewing. You saw it with these Tea Party rallies, which I think exceeded anybody's expectations, certainly in this state, as far as the breadth and depth of them. I was out in Modesto on that Tea Party rally day on the 15th this week, wasn't it? Yes. Yeah. If it's Saturday, I must be in Claremont. There were 400 people at the Modesto rally, and what I found that was kind of interesting is, you know, I kind of went through the standard, you know, we just enacted the largest state tax increase in U.S. history, we have a spending problem, a revenue problem, kind of went through my spiel about what the purpose of government is. What is the purpose of government anyway? You got your CMCers with 2 exceptions, right? Let's ask the person from Scripps, what is the purpose of government? Pardon me? Move on to someone else, okay. Pomona, what is the purpose of government?
I would say to defend and maximize the liberty of people.
Very close to what I would have said. Say it louder.
To defend and maximize the liberty of the people.
All right. I would say that that's, you know, not as precisely stated as the way I'd say it, but pretty much spot on. How about to secure our unalienable rights against what? Tyranny. Tyranny. And where can that tyranny come from?
One another.
Inside or outside?
Inside or outside. Perfect. I've got goosebumps. Somebody is being properly taught around here. It makes me feel good about my future when I'm retired and no longer able to defend myself from those lunatics. So, if the purpose of government is something that we all kind of know, that was something else I mentioned at the Tea Party rally, and what shocked me is I began to recite the preamble of the Declaration of Independence, and those people at the rally in Modesto repeated with me word for word the preamble of the Declaration of Independence, which has never happened to me before in any speaking that I've ever done. We hold these truths to be self-evident, and they are repeating it with me, not after me, with me. What kind of crowd is this? What is this, a bunch of homeschoolers or something? I mean, you know, it was just kind of, it felt odd. And so after I was done with that, I just kind of mentioned, you know, just like casually, oh, and oh, by the way, you know, I'm declared my candidacy for the U.S. Senate against Barbara Box. I couldn't even get the word out. And the crowd was just drowning me out with this thunderous applause of, like, you know, liberate us. And what I found interesting about that is our campaign picked up quite a few volunteers after that. People who are going to work for our effort in the Central Valley. And I think it's that sort of personal effort, that kind of heavy lifting that politicians haven't done in a while in the state, with the possible exception of Congressman Tom McClintock, where you're actually engaging people on a level something, you know, more than just a 30-second ad. And I don't know, call me old-fashioned, but I kind of think that this is the way that, the only way that we can really take the state back in a meaningful way, other than just having the other side so completely screw it up. You know, that's, you don't necessarily want to win by default, because when you win it by default, you're not really prepared to lead for anything longer than a year or two before you mess it up yourself. So that's kind of my opening statement, if you will. I'm getting ready for my federal lawsuit here. Are there any questions that I might answer from students first, if I may? All right. Oh, there we go.
Do you have any advice for Republicans who come from states that are heavily Democratic, like extreme, like Hawaii?